Hello adventure riders from around the world. Someone asked me in the channel how to choose the right tent. So instead of telling you only about the tent, I decided to tell you everything that you have to know about camping gear. I will also show you what I have in my camping bag. I planned actually to make a video review of the new tent, but it didn't arrive and I have to improvise. Stay with me. Welcome back. If you don't know me, my name is Pavlin and I am a motorcycle traveler. In this channel I usually upload anything related to long motorcycle trips, so you might consider subscribing. The video that I'm going to play you now is part from my online course. And before I even start, let me ask you something. How important is the camping gear and is it really necessary? Yes, it might be, but not always. Definitely not on every trip. The camping gear is very important part of every motorcycle adventure, or it might be, depending on the type of the trips that you plan to have. But I will also show you all the sides of this equation. Some things are a bit misunderstood and I want you to be able to recognize the common pitfalls and avoid them. Don't get me wrong, I love camping, I did it many times and I'm gonna do it every time when I have this chance and when the situations requires. For example, if I see a beautiful spot and I have my camping gear, I will stay there with pleasure. Or if it's necessary, if I cannot find accommodation or something like that, I will do it. But it doesn't mean that I'm gonna have my camping gear all the time in all of my trips. It really depends on the situations. To be easy for you to understand what I mean, first you have to learn what are the real benefits of the camping gear. You have to know what works and what not. In what situation you can use it and in what is going to be pointless. I'm gonna show you everything. And when you know all of this, you can optimize, you can polish the content of your camping bag. And of course, this will save you some additional weight in your overall luggage. So, finally, how important is the camping gear? Well, no doubt, it is very important part of any motorcycle adventure gear. But it really depends from the situation. So the question should be, do you really need it on the type of the trips that you plan? Or exactly on the trip that you're going tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? To answer this question, I have to give you a few examples. When I was in Central Asia, around 5 years ago, for a 2-month trip, more than 20,000 kilometers, I have my tent with me and I use it only 3 times. Only 3 times. And the 2 of the times were not really necessary. I just decided to have it because the place was good. Okay, the 3rd was important because I was in the middle of Karakum desert, so no chance, we have to tent somewhere, so I need my tent anyway. But the next 2 were just optional. On next year, I went to Morocco. I spent like 40-45 days, 15, 16, 17,000 kilometers. I never used my tent, but it was with me, with all the gear. Everything that you know that you have to have in your camping gear. The year after that I went to Mongolia. In Mongolia I used it only once. And it's again because I decided to camp, not because I need it. So I'm asking you now, for this altogether like 50-60,000 kilometers, I used the tent 4 times. 4 times for 50,000 kilometers. So I am asking you now, do you think that it was worth it to have these 5 kilograms with me all the time and use it only 4 times? So the answer is no. The main reason, or maybe the main thing that always pushed me to have my gear with me, maybe like you at the moment, it's the understanding that I need the tent while I travel. And all of this, of course, comes from my previous experience. A few years before that, on many of my trips, I was camping. For example, when I was in Norway and Sweden, I was camping almost every single day because the prices over there are very high. Normal hotels start from 100 euros and the food was very expensive, so I was camping all the time and I was preparing my food. And because of this experience, I thought that the camping gear and the tent is the most important part of any motorcycle adventure gear. This is how people get confused. And that's why I said, yes, it might be, in this situation it was, but also it might not. I hope that you start seeing the patterns, but if not, let me explain, because you might say, what do you mean it's not necessary in Asia? I want to camp over there. Yes, when I say it's not necessary, I mean that the hotels over there in Asia, for example, are between $10 and maybe maximum $15 per night, and this includes dinner and breakfast. So to save money and go to camp because of $10, including breakfast and dinner, it's just not worth it. Especially when the temperatures are high. When you have this over 30-35 degrees, to sleep in the tent, it's not a really good decision. What about if it's go over 40, as it was in many of the days? But on the other hand, in Scandinavian countries, as I said, so expensive that the camping was just a must for me because my budget was tight. But maybe yours won't be. So that's why it's so depends of the situations. Okay, Pavlin, I got it. What is the solution? Actually, it is very simple. Before every trip, make a good research about the area you plan to go. What is the situation there? What is the regulation about camping? Can you go on a wild camping? Do you have to pay for every spot? How hot it will be? How cold it will be? On what elevation you're going to travel? What is the rain season or dry season? Check all of this. When you have this information, you might find out that you don't need your tent, like me in Australia and New Zealand last year. I knew that I'm going to Australia and New Zealand in the winter. I knew that the chances to need the tent will be very rare, maybe a day or two in the outback. So even that I brought my tent with me, because my friend over there said that we're gonna tent, even that he's local, he said we're gonna tent. But when I went there, when we spoke about it, when I explained him the overall situation, he said, nah, forget about the tent. So it was the same in New Zealand. I don't need it. And the situation was so simple because I made my research. I checked what are the temperatures, rain season, all of that. And it was so obvious that I don't need to carry the tent all the time. This is what I'm saying. The main reason why I'm always so cautious about the tent and my camping gear, it's to save weight. In my case, my camping gear, the one I'm gonna show you later, weight altogether 4.5 kilograms. But many people got much heavier than this. 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 kilograms. They have everything inside. Most of the things, they will never use it, or they will use it because they have it. I will give you a few examples in the later stage. But the weight, I don't need to remind you again what the weight is, but sooner or later you're gonna realize that. So when you have this extra weight, when you have a long trip, you might have a problem, you might fall down, you need to pick up the motorcycle a few times, you need to unload all of this stuff, and of course you're gonna understand that all of this additional weight that you don't need it, it's just pointless. That's why it's so easy to understand this from the beginning and to prevent it before it even happens. Simple. What I'm saying is that if you plan a long trip, month, 2 or more, and you plan to stay in the tent maybe day or two, better is to leave it at home. You can thank me later. Anyway, let's go to discuss now what is the most important part of your camping gear and how you can travel light and still save money, because this was the point. I know it's a long speech as usual, but it's very important to understand all of that. Number one item, or the most important item in your camping bag, should be your tent. This is actually your mobile home, and you're gonna spend a lot of time on it if you decide to camp regularly. So my advice is to choose a tent for at least 2 people. If you have a bigger 3 or 4, yes, of course it will be more comfortable, but then you will compromise the weight. That's why 2 people is maybe the optimal solution. I will never recommend to go to this single person tent, because you go inside and you lie like in the coffin and you don't have space for anything, and it's not comfortable at all. And if it happens to have a really bad day, rainy day or rainy night, and you cannot move at all, it's going to be a problem. Also, when you have a tent for 2 people, you will have space inside to have some part of your gear. Your saddlebag, your clothes, everything, you can put it inside of the tent. Otherwise, if it's rain, it's going to be wet. So that's why always 2 people tent. And another very important moment is to buy a tent with a dome structure, with 2 sticks crossed all together, not with 1, because when you have with 1, you really need a good support points, otherwise it will move left or right. But when you have this dome cupola shape, it supports itself. You can put it everywhere, include on the asphalt, and it will stay. It should be made from very good waterproof material, and of course they should be 2 layers. The first layer is only the base structure with the mesh, and the second is the actual waterproof layer on the top, and they will have a gap between, air gap like 2-3 centimeters, and this actually will insulate the tent and prevent it from raining. If it's only 1 layer, after a long raining days it will start leaking inside, especially if you touch it, the drops will come in. But when you have these 2 layers, because of the insulation, it's not going to happen. Also, make sure that the tent's got at least 5,000 millimeters of water column. This is very important because most of the tents that are cheap are usually between 1,000 and 2,000, but 1 or 2,000 millimeters of rain mean that if it starts raining more seriously, it will leak. That's why you need at least 5,000 on the top cover and more on the bottom. Bottom usually is like 10,000, so 5,000 on the top, 10,000 on the bottom. This is a good tent. And dome structure, dome shape with 2 layers with a good gap between. This is the basis of any tent that you will need. And one very important tip: learn how to open and close your tent before the trip. It is very simple. You can go to your backyard, make a few experiments, and you will know. You don't need to figure out how to do it. When you just finish the trip, it is already getting dark and you're tired and it starts raining. If you know in advance, you will react much faster, and also you can separate the things. You can separate the top and the bottom and the sticks on the side. You can have it in different bags. You can use any creative way that will help you to open it as fast as possible. The next important item is your mattress. To have a good size, comfortable mattress is very important because it will help you to sleep well, to have a good rest, and to be ready to ride on the next day again. And I had some really bad experience with not so comfortable mattresses, and this is not good at all. If you cannot sleep, if the whole night is bumping and you don't have any comfortable position, it's not good, it's terrible. So at the beginning I was using this like foam pads, very, very thin, they are light, you can roll it like that. And again, yeah, it might be good if you have a good flat and soft surface, but if it's a little bumpy, not good at all. Then I switched to these big self-inflated mattresses. They are usually like 3-4 centimeters. They are rolled like that, and when you open it, they just suck the air in and get self-inflated. They're very comfortable, no doubts, maybe the best option in the terms of comfort, but they are very big and very heavy. Now at the moment I use air mattress, so you can actually blow it up. You can lift it by blow it up yourself, and it's again provide very, very good comfort, and it's very light and very small. I'm gonna show you in a minute. Number 3 is actually your sleeping bag. Make your choice very carefully. From what you're gonna buy will depend your comfort. The first impression everyone got, or the first thing that everybody thinks to do, is to buy as warm as possible, which is good, maybe a good choice. But let me tell you something, it all comes from your experience. I had one really bad experience exactly on this topic. It was in the Alps, 6-7 years ago. I was sleeping in the tent and it was around 3 degrees. And the sleeping bag that I've got was big but not that warm. So I was freezing all night out, all night. At the beginning I went inside only with my warm linings, and then I put my pants, my jacket, my gloves, my hat, everything, and I was freezing all night, and I was praying that the sun will come as soon as possible so I can wake up, start and ride. It was terrible. And since then I said, no, I need something else, and I bought one really warm and big and bulky sleeping bag. And in the next few years I used it once or twice, but I was carrying this big bag like this all the time. It was half of my entire luggage. So I said, no, it should be another solution. And I made my research and I found one very comfortable and small sleeping bag. And you know, sleeping bags, they've got these different temperature levels of comfort, exactly as they describe it. And the bag that I've got, at the beginning I said, man, it said comfortable on 15 degrees. Maybe lower level 15 degrees. I said, yeah, but what about if it's colder? Well, my friend, how many times when the temperatures are under 15, you will decide to tent? Not much, or not many. That's why I got this sleeping bag, and since then I use it 2-3 times, and it is absolutely fine. Yeah, it might be not enough if it's too cold, if I have to do something extreme and go into the tent, but I can always improvise when I have all of my gear in, and yeah, we'll be alright just for a night or two, but I don't need to carry this bulky bag all the time. Before I move to the next, let me tell you that there are many very good solutions, very comfortable, warm and light sleeping bags. Of course, they will cost more money, but you will appreciate it every time when you need to sleep in your tent. So it's a good idea to invest in better gear, especially if you plan to use it a lot. The next important item is your pillow. This is something that you're probably gonna miss on your first camping night, but you will definitely have on the second. They usually cost nothing, they weigh nothing. I have one very small, you have to blow it to have the air in, but it's just, as I said, it costs nothing and weighs nothing, and it is a must-have item. Foldable chair, yeah, it might be a good idea if you can find one very light and small option. I'm gonna show you in a minute. Next on my list, number 5, is your cooking stuff. Stove, pots and everything that you might need to cook your food. This is one very controversial topic, and many of the riders will advise that this is so important, very important, you should have it, you will be able to cook your food and it will save you a lot of time and money. In my opinion, this is one of the most pointless items to have in your camping bag. If you decide to go on this direction, you will need stove, you'll need petrol or gas can, whatever it is, you'll need pots, you'll need some cups, you'll need forks, you'll need spoons, you'll need salt, you'll need sugar, you'll need some cleaning materials, you'll need towels, and you will easily finish with 2-3 kilograms. Here you might resist. I said, Pavlin, you know nothing. I have a stove that is 200 grams. Yes, your stove might be 200 grams, but the bottle will be more 200 grams, and then the pot will be 500 grams, and then the next will be this, the next will be that, and you will finish with 2-3 kilograms. Don't ask me how I know that from my personal experience. I used to carry stove on many of my trips, and I use it sometimes, very rare, just because I have it. I can easily go without it. I can feel now your resistance say, no, Pavlin, no way. I need my morning coffee and I need to prepare my food. I won't be able to eat anything else on the street because I have a problem with my stomach. I have to prepare this or that, or I have no money for this. All right, I got it. But every time when you decide to camp, it will be in 90% of the cases, especially if you start your trips now, will be on the camping spots. On every camping spot that you decided to go, you have to pay tax. 15, 20, 30 euros, depends on the location. And every time when you pay this tax, this will include a shared kitchen, spots, stoves, pots, everything. So you will have everything already there. You don't need to bring your own. Check it out. Just Google it. Check the camping spots and see what features they've got, and you'll see if you don't believe me. But what I'm saying is that every time when you want to cook your food, you can do it by use the stuff they already got there. What about if I'm on wild camping? If you're on wild camping, my friend, you can survive a night. I'm sure about it. Even if you really want to have your private coffee, okay, go to the wild camping early morning, wake up, go to the first gas station, buy a coffee, and you're good. Why you need to carry these 2-3 kilograms all the time? This is the point. As simple as that. Boom. Okay, Pavlin, that's good. Coffee is easy, I can grab it on the next morning, but what I'm gonna eat for dinner on this wild camping, for example, if I don't have the chance to cook the food? It is even more simple, my friend. Every time when I plan to sleep in the tent, what I do, go to the first supermarket and buy the stuff that I'm gonna need for the dinner. Yeah, I'm not gonna cook this dinner, but I'm not gonna die if I eat for dinner, let's say cheese, bread, some dry meat or whatever you decide to eat, maybe only biscuits. I'm not going to die if I don't have a proper cooked meal. I'm not gonna even describe you that in most of the cases the food that you're gonna prepare, these prefabricated packages, are absolutely garbage. I'm not gonna even discuss this. So what I'm gonna do, just buy some stuff, eat it in the tent, and the next morning just take the garbage with me, and that's it. So simple. You don't need to carry all of this, because at the end you're on a motorcycle trip, you're not on a culinary journey. On the other hand, If your idea is just to enjoy only the campgrounds, not to travel, then it's different. If you travel with your wife and you want to spend, let's say, 2-3 days on the camp spot, on campground, and then move somewhere else and spend 2-3 more days, it is obvious that you need more stuff. But I'm talking now about motorcycle trips, adventure trips, and stuff like that. We're not talking about enjoying the camping sites. This is completely different. I have seen this number of times. People having so much, 5, 6, 10, 12 kilograms of camping gear, something that they don't really need. And now again, Pavlin, no, what about hygiene? I need all of this stuff. I need towels, I need soap, I need... Okay, you need it, but as I said, if you go to the normal camping ground, where you're paying, you're gonna have everything. You have a toilet, sinks, showers, everything will be included in your price. You don't really need it. Okay, you need your towel and you need your soap, but this is something completely different. You don't need that big bag. Believe me, you don't. Alright, with all of this being said, let me finally open this bag for you. The total weight is 4.5 kilograms, and inside I have my tent, sleeping bag, pillow, mattress and foldable chair. All of this will give me the independence that I need, or that I might need in the case I will decide to go and sleep in the tent, or I don't have any possibility to find accommodation. The biggest item inside is the tent. It's a good size dome tent. The brand is Loop. It was Polish brand. I'll try to find the website, their website, and link it. It's a 5,000 millimeters water column, 10,000 on the bottom. It's really worked well. I'm very pleased with this tent. And this is my sleeping bag. It's a very light North Cap. I bought it from one of the motorcycle shops here in Berlin. It is comfortable to maximum 15 degrees. Below that is going to be cold. But what I like is the size. It's very light and very small size. That's why I have it. This is my mattress. See how big it is? Let me show you what I mean. When you open it, it's big, very big. You can easily inflate it because it has this big hole. It's not like a normal mattresses, the one you go to the beach. No, this one is very easy to inflate. Look at this. You can do it very fast. Actually, for 5 to 10 minutes, it is ready to go. And this is my pillow, my air pillow. Again, very small, very light. I can easily inflate it. I even have a small cup. It's made from metal in the case I want to have coffee or something like that. And this is the foldable chair that I explained you earlier. It's very practical, very light. It's made from duraluminum, very tough. I tested many times and I'm 100 kilograms. So it easily supports my weight. Before that I bought a couple of very cheap options and much bigger than this, and they all cracked. But this is fantastic. I have links in the websites down below. That's everything I have, everything. And as I said, this will give me the independence in the case I need it. But if I don't need it, at least it's not going to be that heavy. 4.5 kilograms altogether. Alright, conclusion. The most important requirements for any camping gear is to be light and take as less as possible space, because the weight always matters. Be careful what you have in, take only what you need. And good quality gear costs a lot, and if you don't camp regularly, these are money wasted for nothing. One very important advice: whatever you decided to buy, the best you can afford at the moment, please test it before your real trip. You can spend the night even in your background, in your tent, in the sleeping bag, or with the pillow that you plan to have. This will give you a very good priceless experience to know what works and what don't. As I said, this video was part from my online course. It is a step-by-step system that will help you to learn as fast as possible. For about 8 hours or 1 working day, you'll be able to gain all the information that you will ever need and finally start with your dream adventures. Yes, it will cost you money, but it will significantly shorten the learning process. And as you know, the time is money. All the details are in the description down below. As usual, always ride safe and see you next time.